Good afternoon. We are bringing you commentary of Italy against Wales today from Euro 2020 Group A. I'm your alternative host, Rust Vernon, and you're listening to the commentary of. Alongside me is your match commentator for Italy against Wales, and that is the brilliant Matt Iles. And Matt, very good afternoon to you, mate. Are you looking forward to this one? And how do you think Wales can do in this game against Italy today?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, Ross. Thank you for letting me on again. And good afternoon to everybody. Or, wow, sort of early evening. Interesting game, isn't it? Top of the table clash in Group A. Wales know that this is their hardest game if they're going to finish top. Italy have been flying. They've looked so strong. It's not as easy as a foregone conclusion as many people feel in Italy's favour. Wales have shown they could be tough to play against and be very, very hard and be very, very solid. So I don't think it's the easiest game for the Italians, and Wales are going to be right up for this because they know that they have a chance to play at Wembley in the round of 16.
Yes, that is the case, Matt. And if you just look at the Italian side, Matt, plenty of changes for them today. Do you think that could give Wales a chance of getting a victory today?
I believe it does. I still think that this is still a talented Italian side that has been put out by Roberto Mancini. Of course, several players probably nursing niggling injuries. I mean, obviously, we know Giorgio Chiellini has got a hip flexor problem, so he's unavailable until the round of 16. So obviously, I think he's used the good depth there. They've got Chiesa, Belotti, Bernardeschi are three players who've had, solid campaigns with their clubs, Juventus and Torino. You've got Verratti, who speaks for himself, the calibre of player that he is. Pessina's had a good sort of up a couple of few years at Atalanta, and Bastoni's a league winner with Inter Milan. Toloi's a big part player for Atalanta. So this is a still a decent team it's Italy put out. But of course, yeah, as we know, not the best that they would have done. But of course, they've got the knockout stages in mind. But Wales will still fancy their chances regardless of what side's put out.
Yes, they will, mate. They will indeed, and it'd be interesting to see how Rob Page goes about it. He's made a few changes as well. Do you think that could hamper Wales' chances of finishing top of the group today, Matt?
Well, I think it does, but I think he's obviously looking ahead as well. They're practically through to the knockout stages, aren't they? Barring an absolute miracle that they don't. Obviously, Davies and Mepham both miss out. They're both on the bench. They both got bookings potentially that await them. They've got two bookings they picked up against the respective sides, against Turkey and Switzerland. So that's something that's a real threat and a real worry. Going into it. So it's quite smart management that Rob Page hasn't picked them. And of course, he's going to need his strongest players possible for Wales when they do, for me, get into the knockout stages.
Yes, indeed, Matt. And I was looking at some of the permutations earlier on ahead of this game today, and we'll just touch upon a few of these permutations for this match today in particular. In Wales, as we mentioned, with a draw, they can go through to the knockout stages, but win and they finish the top with Wales draw and Switzerland fail to beat Turkey. They will confirm top two, but Switzerland can finish in the top two if they win and Wales lose. So it'll be interesting to see how Wales go for this. Switzerland in their game will be going out to try and win and hope Wales slip up in their game to go through with Turkey when they can finish in third. So both games have got something to play for both teams today, Matt.
Well, I mean, obviously, Wales have got a positive goal difference, haven't they? Switzerland have got a minus, so they need to hit 3 against Turkey if they stand any chance of, getting into second place, and hope that Italy do them a favour and be, as consistent and good as they were against the Swiss and the Turkish in the previous 2 games. So there's a lot still riding on it for Switzerland, but Wales have really put themselves in a fantastic position. They're practically, for me, 80% of the way there. That 20% is just sealing second place.
Yes, and the teams be getting ready to come out in just a couple of minutes for this game today. And see some of the Welsh fans all excited. The players just making their way down, ready to come out onto the field of play. Because Italy on one side with a couple of the officials, the Welsh are the other. So it'll be interesting to see how that do. But with the teams in the tunnel, I'll be keeping you abreast of what's happening in the other group game between Switzerland and Turkey. But for this one between Italy and Wales, it's time to join your match commentator, Matt Isles.
Thank you very much, Russ. Well, Baku was very kind for Wales. They got the job done with those 2 positive results against Switzerland and Turkey, picking up 4 points from a possible 6. How will they fare in Rome, the eternal city and the capital of Italy, which has been very kind to its home country? Italy have won 2 games, scored 6, conceded none. They are the tournament's highest scorers and have shown just why many feel they will be going very far in this tournament as they look to go 30 matches unbeaten and continue that impressive run of not conceding in 10 matches, as this is a huge game at the Stadio Olimpico, as it's a battle for the top of Group A and to play at Wembley Stadium in the round of 16. But before the action, it's time for the national anthems of Wales and Italy. Well, one thing that is a guarantee with the Italians, they will sing Fratelli d'Italia like it is the last time those players are ever going to wear the blue of Italy. And of course, it really is one that really strikes a chord with their supporters, both in the Stadio Olimpico and at home. And here it is again, Fratelli d'Italia. Well, they really did sing that with a lot of oomph, didn't they? It is one that really does get the crowd going wherever they play across Italy. Well, they have made 8 changes to their final group game tonight as Roberto Mancini, as it is time to use the rest of his squad that he picked for these European Championships. The only thing that remains the same is that Gianluigi Donnarumma, or one of them that remains the same anyway, is that Donnarumma continues in goal. They have a back 4 of Rafael Toloi, Leonardo Bonucci, Alessandro Bastoni and Emerson, with 3 of the back 4 changing today as Toloi replaces Giovanni Di Lorenzo. Bastoni comes in place of Chiellini, who's injured, and Spinazzola's on the bench as Emerson comes in. They have a 3-man midfield, as they did in the first 2 games. Matteo Pessina, Jorginho and Verratti plays. Jorginho is the only one who retains his place, with Pessina coming in place of Nicolo Barella and Marco Verratti coming in place of Manuel Locatelli, the man who scored 2 against Turkey. And then it's the 3 up front, which is a different 3 of Chiesa, Belotti and Bernardeschi, as Immobile, Berardi and Lorenzo Insigne are on the bench. The Italian subs: Salvatore Sirigu, Alex Mere, Giovanni Di Lorenzo, Leonardo Spinazzola, Francisco Acerbi, Manuel Locatelli, Gaetano Castrovilli, Brian Cristante, Nicolo Barella, Lorenzo Insigne, Giacomo Raspadori and Ciro Immobile. Well, Wales make 3 changes, but they fought a bit more tactically ahead of these knockout rounds, which they look like they are going to be heading through come 90 minutes. Danny Ward retains his place in goal as he did for the first 2 games. They have made a formation change as well. Ethan Ampadu comes in place of Ben Davies, who's not involved in the side due to him being on a suspension, potentially, should he get another booking. And Chris Gunter comes in place of Chris Mepham, who's also under the same fate with Ben Davies. And Joe Rodon is in the back 3 as well. Connor Roberts, Joe Allen, Joe Morrell retain their places. Nico Williams replaces Kiefer Moore up front, as Gareth Bale, Aaron Ramsey and Dan James are the 3. With the subs: Hennessy, Davies, Ben Davies, Lockyer, Norrington, Davies, as the Italians and the Welsh players do take the knee ahead of kickoff with Andrea Belotti to get us underway. And the rest of the subs: Mepham, Wilson, Williams, Brooks, Dylan Levitt, Tyler Robertson, Kiefer Moore. So we are underway in Rome. The final group game for both these sides. The final one in Rome for Italy. And the first one in this country and this part of the world for Wales. These 2 sides usually meet predominantly in rugby union, with Wales coming out on top a lot more. This is only the 10th meeting between these 2 sides. Italy have the better record of the 2, as Wales are hoping to get a win and shock the Azzurri to its very foundations, something they've been used to doing in the European Championships before. Here's Bernardeschi. Tries to get the cross in the box, but the flag is raised by the Romanian official on that right-hand side, which is Radu Jingulak. Referee is Ovidiu Ategan, who's refereeing the second match of the tournament for himself. Refereed the Poland-Slovakia game in which he showed Gregor Skrikowiak a red card. He's supporting him, of course, is Sebastian George, and the 4th official is Oral Grinfeld from Israel, and the VAR is Pavel Hill, with the VAR assistants 1 and 2 from France, and Francois Letexier, Benjamin Paget, and the VAR assistant 3, Paul Van Bokel. And of course, as well on the channel, we will give you updates of Turkey's match against Switzerland in Baku, of course, as Turkey cannot finish in the top 2, but they could finish in 3rd. Switzerland know that they are the better of the 2 in the going into the match, but they know that if they do not win, their chances of reaching the knockout stages via the 3rd place are slim. As we are 2 minutes into this one, it is Italy 0, Wales 0, as Emerson gives it to Bastoni, the Serie A title winner with Inter Milan this season. Now, Leonardo Bonucci has it at the back. Now to the right back, which is Rafael Toloi, who is Brazilian by birth, but of course, due to him being in Italy for so long with Atalanta, of course, he was one that Mancini wanted to get into his squad and got his citizenship changed, as the Romanian referee has given a free kick for a foul on Dan James. And that, of course, is something that he is very often used to seeing, which is winning free kicks, as Jorginho goes into the back of him in the middle of the pitch, just on the halfway line. Wales take it short as Joe Rodon has the ball. Now, Chris Gunter, Wales' most capped player. Here is now Gareth Bale, their top goal scorer in their country's history. And that's another free kick, this time on the right-hand touchline. He was trying to give it back, I think, to Chris Gunter, but the 2 Italian players of Bastoni and Verratti had a swing at him. It was Verratti in particular that did that. And it is a free kick for Wales just inside Italy's half. So, on paper, it's a tall order for Wales, but if anyone knows about committing a shock in these Euros. Wales had to do it after they did it against Belgium a few years ago. Bale with a good ball, and then Nico Williams comes in to attack it. Originally, it was looking for the run of Dan James, I think it was. It went over his head. Bale really flashed that in. It went all the way to the back post on the right-hand side of Donnarumma's goal, and it went beyond... it went all the way through to Nico Williams and straight to Gianluigi Donnarumma. Here is Toloi. Pass is cut out by Joe Allen in the middle of the pitch. And it's an Italian throw on the right-hand side with the Stadio Olimpico in glorious sunshine. Around about 29 degrees it is in Rome this early evening. And of course, we saw drinks breaks in the various matches yesterday in Budapest, Munich and Seville. It does feel like we'll have the same again, as that's an overhit ball out to the right for Bernardeschi to try and control. As Wales get a throw. First start for him in this tournament as Roberto Mancini has reshuffled the pack. As Nico Williams goes over to take it. One of 3 changes for Wales tonight. He comes in place of Kiefer Moore. So Aaron Ramsey is in a 3 with Bale and James. That is a pacey front 3. Here is now Joe Allen on the ball to number 15, Ethan Ampadu, very comfortable playing in a back 3. Of course, he slotted in there well for Sheffield United on an individual note, but personally, as a team, it didn't quite go well for the Blades. As the ball looking out on the right-hand side for Connor Roberts, sees the man who got the second in Baku go down, but not win a free kick as Emerson lets it go out of play. The first 5 minutes are played in this one. It is Italy 0, Wales 0. No goals to bring you in the Switzerland-Turkey game. Remember, Russ Vernon will bring you updates as they happen in a game that has big consequences potentially for Wales, and in terms of how far Switzerland will go in this tournament. Turkey have got to win to stand any chance of getting into the knockout stages via that third place method. Only 4 of the 6 sides can do that in the group stages, and the ball into the Wales box from the centre-back Bastoni is headed comfortably back by Joe Rodon into the path of Danny Ward. Second choice at Leicester, but very much the number 1 for his country as Bernardeschi tries to put him under pressure, but he just about clears it away to the right-hand side in the nick of time there. There's Danny Ward. Bit of head tennis going on in the middle there. Verratti gets up, heads it back to the defender, which is, to the midfielder Jorginho. He gives it to Pessina. Not the best ball back to Jorginho, but he wins a free kick as he was fouled by Aaron Ramsey. Just left a foot in on the Chelsea midfielder, and Italy have got a free kick, which is taken quickly. Now, Verratti, of course, it was confirmed yesterday pre-match by Roberto Mancini that he would play. Had missed the remainder of the season with Paris Saint-Germain due to an injury, which had meant he played no part in the first 2 games. Wasn't like they needed him anyway. Ball is a high one for Belotti to chase, but it's not going to have enough of it to go through to him, and Danny Ward will just see the ball bounce up high and be took in his grasp. As he keeps the ball to his chest, he then knocks it out to the right-hand side for Bale to try and get under control. They will often look to do that, Wales, try and get Bale involved at every possible opportunity. It's just a shame that that touch deserted him. There is a goal in the Switzerland-Turkey game, as I understand. Let's go over to Ross Vernon, who'll bring the details of that one from Baku.
Yes, thank you, Martin. Sevic is up in the square for Switzerland. Great bit of play down the Switzerland right-hand side, featuring Embolo. He pulled the ball back to the edge of the penalty area, and Sevic arrived at the edge of the box and fired it home beyond the Ugan Kakia in the Turkey goal. Is Switzerland 1, Turkey 0. Switzerland, start to the better.
Well, of course, if Wales do get a positive result tonight in the Italian capital, then that will be enough for them to finish in second place and be unbeaten in the group. Switzerland go on to 4 points now, with Turkey bottom, pointless and winless. As the video, Atagan is just asserting his authority for Toloi to take the throws. Of course, he tried to step just a little bit further than where the ball actually landed out of play originally. It's Bonucci. Plays it out to the right now to Pessina. Often does like to get involved with the attacks. Now flicks it through to Bernardeschi. He's on the right-hand side. Tries to slide it through back to Pessina. But it's just an overhit, rushed ball by Federico Bernardeschi, and he's going to go all the way through, I should say, to Danny Ward. Yeah, that's what the Italians could do. Bonucci just played it quick to Pacini, then gives it to Bernardeschi, and he's got a little bit of time to really look up. He's got to just play that ball, take the pace off it. It's just a gentle little clip ball through. He's got to play, and he got that one wrong. Verratti on the ball, such a calm, composed figure in there, isn't he? The little man from Paris Saint-Germain. He just wriggles away from Aaron Ramsey. He gets it back from Emerson from the left-hand side. Now it's Belotti who comes short into the middle. His pass is blocked, and he looked to find Pessina. That's good play by Ramsey. Now Joe Allen tries to get away from Pessina. There was a sliding challenge by Verratti, which Ovidiu Atigan has spotted. And Wales have got a free kick just before the halfway line in the middle of the pitch. Yeah, it was the lunge, I think, from Verratti more than anything else on Joe Allen. Pessina certainly didn't do anything wrong. Got his body up as Joe Allen was just trying to get away from him and get his body up. But yeah, it was just the intent from Verratti more than anything else. Here is Leonardo Bonucci. So far, both sides just been a bit cautious in this one, as Italy won't mind getting a point, as it will see them top. Remember, if Italy win this, they will have a 100% record. Whoever finishes top of this group will be, of course, playing second in Group C, which will either be Ukraine or Austria in London, which, of course, Wembley Stadium is hosting there. And should whoever come second in this group will entertain the side who finishes runner-up in Group B. So that will be either Belgium, Finland, Russia or Denmark. And that will be decided tomorrow, of course, on the games that we will cover on the commentary hub. Ramsey just tries to shake off Jorginho. Of course, Aaron Ramsey on Italian soil. Of course, he's a man who plays his club for Juventus. Nothing given, as Ramsey felt he was fouled. And we're at 10.5 minutes into this one. Italy 0, Wales 0 on the commentary hub. As it stands, it's as you were in this group. Only Wales probably looking over their shoulder a little bit now, with Switzerland winning in Baku against Turkey, with Haris Seferovic scoring. And as well, Italy stay top. So no changes there. This is the game you listen to on the commentary hub, the home of alternative commentary, as Jorginho has it. Now Verratti on the ball. Gives it to Emerson. The Chelsea man. He sends a high cross to the back post. Belotti attacks it. Well, he looked to just try and strike it on the volley, the Torino man. He got beyond the defender, Ethan Ampadu, and it was a real well-timed ball, but Belotti acrobatically turned into it, was full committed, but he's actually touched it out of play for a goal kick. Yeah, no Welsh player actually saw the run of Belotti. They were all ball watching. Ampadu was just too tight, too narrow. He's got to come out. He's got to track the run of Belotti, and he knows how good a ball that was in, but it was just a shame he couldn't quite get the contact on it. Danny Ward with the kick, away by Bastoni, and then the header on the second one anyways by Bernardeschi, and then safely headed back to the goalkeeper, Danny Ward, by Ethan Ampadu. As then Danny Ward rolls it out. Remember, Wales in all red, which is their usual strip, and Italy in their home of blue, white, blue, which they're wearing for the second time in this tournament. Of course, the first game against Turkey, they wore all white, as they were the designated away side in the opening game, given the way that the draw works and how they, of course, are pitted against each other. But almost essentially, they were playing 3 games on home soil, as Verratti tries to just get away from the Welsh midfield. Belotti was fouled just before that. It was Ethan Ampadu that was a little bit too rash and just trying to hold off Belotti. Did have his arms on the back of the Italy number 9. Verratti takes his shot in the middle of the pitch, out to the left with Emerson. Verratti gets it back. Now to Jorginho. To Rafael Toloi. Pessina is an Atalanta teammate. Here's Federico Chiesa. First time we've seen him involved tonight. It's a really good cross in there. Bernardeschi was attacking it. Well watched by Joe Rodon, who just had to make sure that he just headed that away. And he didn't really care where it went, as long as it was away from the goal. Yeah, Federico Chiesa is very good at that. Getting the ball, turning on his right foot, getting the ball in. He's a really tricky player. He had a good loan at Juventus. Of course, they've got him for another year. And of course, he was the Coppa Italia final hero when they beat Atalanta by 2-1 in the final last month. Here's Bernardeschi. He then gets the cross in, and attacking it was the number 14 for Italy, Chiesa, as he misses it. And Nico Williams just jogs as that ball goes out of play. But had Chiesa made contact on that, that's goal bound, you would have assumed. Yeah, Bernardeschi gets the cross in. Italy have gone really deep with their crosses. They're just trying to make sure that it gets away from the centre of the three of the Welsh defenders, isn't it? It's a good delivery, and Connor Roberts, for me, has got to go out and chase it down. Bernardeschi was quite central when he put the cross in. Chiesa had the right intentions, but unfortunately, he just completely missed the ball and kicked thin air. Gunter with the throw on the left-hand side. Ramsey flicks it on. Toloi heads it to Jorginho, just volleys it to Alessandro Bastoni. Now Emerson, maybe a chance to shoot a goal, and he does. It's on target, but it's straight down the middle and easy for Danny Ward to save. Good hit by Emerson. When he's in that position, you just knew he was going to line a shot up. Around about 25 yards out. It was a really good bit of keeping by Danny Ward, because you just never know, do you? It might just take a deflection, change its direction, and that's exactly what happened. Remember, Switzerland and Turkey is the other game kicking off at the same time in this group. Turkey are 1-0 down against the Swiss. Haris Seferovic with the goal for Switzerland, as they, of course, are winning in the Azerbaijan capital. And they're putting a bit of pressure on Wales, as Wales are to the Italian defence, as Donnarumma just chips it to Bastoni, as Bale was pouncing there and alert, hoping to get some luck there, as Pessina just gets away from Nico Williams, playing as a left wing back in what is a change of system for Wales. Here is Verratti in the middle to Bernardeschi. Verratti gets it back. That's a lovely flick to Bernardeschi, and then him and Verratti just try and almost play it amongst one another, but it's cut out by the Welsh midfield and then given back to Danny Ward, who just boots it high into the air. And there's time for Bonucci to just take it under control and bring it out from his own defensive area, as he plays it short to Jorginho in the middle of the pitch. Now to Rafael Toloi. Here is now Matteo Pessina. 8 changes Italy made before the game. Of course, the likes of Chiellini, Immobile, Barella, Locatelli not involved. They've been so key for them so far in this tournament. Here is now Bernardeschi taking on Joe Rodon down the left-hand side. Keeps the ball at his feet. Verratti's in support. He's got Emerson behind him, but he'll go back to Bernardeschi. He's about 18 yards out, clips the ball in. Belotti attacks it. Good header away by Nico Williams. Struck by Toloi. It's bounced off Pessina and into the hands of Danny Ward. Toloi just hit it on the volley. It bounced off Pessina and then went into the hands of the goalkeeper, Danny Ward. But luckily for Ward, that could have gone anywhere. But Italy very much probing in the opening 16 and a half minutes. Yeah, they are there, causing problems. Bernardeschi's finding those little bits of room in the middle in particular and playing very narrow. Wales are struggling to get out to him at the moment. He's putting high balls in. They've caused a problem or two so far for Wales, but they've just about dealt with it. Luckily for Danny Ward, he was just in the right position to make sure that Pessina's shot didn't just wrong foot him and take it away from him. Here is Joe Allen, one of the heroes in the Euros 5 years ago. Ampadu out to the right. And of course, Wales turned on the style in their last final game of the Euros in 2016. Of course, when they beat Russia by 3-0. That meant they topped the group ahead of England. This will be something special as well should they beat the Italians tonight. That's the only way they will finish top of the group, as Verratti loses out. Quite luckily for Wales as well, because there was a poor misplaced pass in the middle there, as Aaron Ramsey is fouled on the right-hand side. Jorginho just clips his left shin. And it's a Wales free kick on the right-hand side, as Rob Page looks on in a full Wales tracksuit. Somebody who, of course, has stepped into the breach due to the personal issues in Ryan Giggs' life. Not done too bad a job since stepping up to the plate, promoted from assistant to manager. He's actually been promoted from his under-21 manager to full senior boss in just 2 years. Pretty good rise for the man who was a real tough centre-back in his heyday with the likes of Coventry and Chesterfield in the day. Here is now the midfielder for Wales, Joe Morel, as he just tries to play it out to the left with Nico Williams, but it's out of play for an Italy throw on the left-hand side as Mancini just showcases that he still hasn't lost it, as he just tries to acrobatically take the touch, sticking his leg behind his head. As Italy have it here with Bonucci. One thing about Italy that's been so good in the opening 2 games is they've been so fast, they've been so relentless in their pursuit to just try and get in front. They've been really dominant and been really at it, and it's been a real worry for the 2 sides they've played. But of course, Wales so far are doing enough and keeping it at 0-0 as we're approaching 20 minutes on the clock. Ball down the line on the left is one that's a square one and has gone out of play for a throw as Nico Williams goes over to take it. As it was Rafael Toloi who put that ball out of play. Will be Williams to take the throw again. For Wales, throws it short to Dan James in front of him. Gives it back to Nico Williams, just gets away from the challenger Rafael Toloi. He played really high there, trying to win the ball in a very good position for his side. But Toloi just fouls Nico Williams there. Yeah, the Italians do push really, really high. They don't allow their opposition to get out from the area they find themselves in. But Nico Williams does really well because he knows if he just keeps the ball at his feet, Toloi's going to have a swipe at him. And that's exactly what he did. And luckily for him, he won a free kick. Well, there's around about 200 Welsh fans inside the Stadio Olimpico. Of course, they have travelled in numbers in Baku, where, of course, the Welsh squad are based. But, of course, they've had to fly to Rome. And, of course, how they would dearly love to play a round of 16 at Wembley. Or if not, they'll play in Amsterdam. So it will still be well away from where their team is based. Roberts to Danny Ward. Touch does desert him, but luckily it's well away from the goal to make sure it doesn't go behind him. They do often come off badly for goalkeepers as Connor Roberts is fouled. Ovidigu Atagan, the referee, excuse me, was just waiting for the right time to give that as Emerson just went in and turned his body into the stomach of Connor Roberts, and remaining after a little bit of delaying of the decision is finally given it Wales' favour. Italy 0, Wales 0, and a game you listen to on the Commentary Hub, the home of alternative commentary, and it is Italy 0, Wales 0. We have got more live football to bring you tomorrow as groups C and B are involved as Bale is fouled by Bastoni. Just had his arms on the back of Bale's neck. What we'll be bringing you tomorrow is that we will be bringing you North Macedonia against the Dutch. Dutch, of course, already guaranteed top spot in Group C. Of course, Igor Angelovski's North Macedonia side winless after 2 games. And then, of course, later on, Finland against Belgium will be covered by Ross Vernon. And then, of course, Copenhagen. And then we'll go to Denmark against Russia, which I'll be covering at the same time on the Commentary Hub. As Pessina gives it straight to Joe Morales. Wales are in the final 25 yards of Italy's defensive third. Now, here is the midfielder, Gareth Bale on the ball. Plays it through. It's a nice ball to Joe Allen. Cuts it back to Ramsey. Maybe Joe Allen should have got the shot away there as he just tries to win the ball back inside the Italian defensive half. Well, 1-0 by Ethan Ampadu. Nico Williams to Ramsey out on the left-hand side. Backhills it to Williams, who has to slide in to keep it in. Ampadu to Ramsey. Now Williams, that's a nice play to give it to Ampadu again. Wales building nicely the attack as Allen can't get around Jorginho. And then Jorginho wins a free kick. But that was better from Wales as they're making small steps towards the Italian goal. A really nice play between Williams and Ampadu. Then he gives it to Joe Allen here, and he's just got in that position. And that first touch just lets him down. He's just trying to get onto his left foot, trying to put the cross in. I think, for Bale to probably attack as he so often makes that run at the back post. But Jorginho was all the way alongside him and just got in front of him. Ball through by Bonucci is in the middle to Pessina. Now he picks up Bernardeschi, shifted out to the left-hand side. Belotti and Chiesa in support, as is Emerson, who's just behind him in that left-hand side. Pessina with the first-time ball, straight to Joe Morelli, was well positioned in the box. He just cut that pass out, but Wales give it away. Bernardeschi to Chiesa. Welsh player swarming round him. Bernardeschi to Andrea Belotti, and he's just hit it wide. Chiesa still in as well. But Andrea Belotti, who made contact with that cross from earlier on in the match, had a better opportunity this time on the floor, but he's just dragged it wide. I think he's actually looking to try and just pull that back for me, while trying to put it across to the right-hand side of Danny Ward's goal, but Chiesa makes that run through the middle. There's no runner at the back post, and Wales escape with one. Williams with the high ball, looking to get Dan James moving, and Dan James gets it under control nicely. Good pace shown into Ramsey, who just lost his foot in there as he tried to get under control and actually bounces off his arm. And Ovidiu Atagan, the Romanian referee, is well placed to give that a free kick. Well, he's saying he couldn't do a lot about it, but the decision has already been made anyway. 24 and a half minutes gone, and the game is on the commentary hub, the home of alternative commentary. Italy 0, Wales 0. The other game in this group is Switzerland 1, Turkey 0. Haris Seferovic with the goal in that game. That means that it's, as it stands, Italy on 7, Wales 5, Switzerland 4, Turkey no points. But of course, as we know, there's still a long way to go in both those games. It could easily change very, very soon. Ramsey, Wales just getting back into this. This is their best spell in the game at the moment. Ramsey tries to get it back to Bale, but it's gone all the way back through to Welsh defence. Now Nico Williams on the left. Here is Ramsey. Bale's almost acting as the centre forward at the moment, as Ramsey's had to drop into midfield. Joe Morel. Now to another Joe in Rodon. Here is Chris Gunter. Now it's with Nico Williams. Here's Gunter, and you'd have to give Wales a little bit of credit for in terms of how they've just sort of limited Italy. And Bonucci has to put that out for a corner. Donnarumma was unsure whether he wanted it back to him or not, so Bonucci had to use all his experience to put it out, and Wales are just making Italy do a bit of defending more than they would have liked. It's a good ball down the middle. All you want to get is just a corner, just try and chase it down, get something. That's exactly what happened. First corner of the match for Wales. It will be Dan James to take. Can he beat the first man? That's what he's going to be looking to do here, as Italy have got the majority of their team back. And it goes by James as well. Well attacked by Chris Gunter, and he heads it just over the bar. Well, he met it well. He escaped the Italian defence, who were zonal marking there. There was just a few sort of just sat on the 6-yard box, and Gunter has just headed that over the bar as it nestles onto the roof of the net, but that is not too far away at all, and that is the closest the Welsh have come so far in Italy. Good delivery into the box. He just gets it in, and unfortunately he's unable to score, but there's another goal actually in the Switzerland-Turkey game. I'll go to Russ very, very shortly as Italy come forward. Here is now Emerson, Verratti. Does well to turn away from around. Now he's in the Welsh box. Verratti shoots, but curls it wide. Over to you, Russ. There's been another goal in the Switzerland-Turkey game. Is it 2-0 Switzerland or 1-1 Turkey?
It is 2-0 to Switzerland, Matt, and a fantastic goal it was too. A brilliant pass from Zuber on from the edge of the box after Seferovic had a shot, which was blocked. Came out to Xherdan Shaqiri, the Liverpool man, and he killed the ball into the top right-hand corner of the net. Switzerland doubled their lead, and since taking the lead, it's what they deserve. Switzerland 2, Turkey 0, coming up towards 28 minutes gone.
Well, they're doing their goal difference the world of good. They've now gone down to -1 with that 2-goal deficit, so just confirmation from Rush. Xherdan Shaqiri's made it 2-0 to Switzerland. So as it stands, Italy are on 7, Wales on 5, Switzerland 4, Turkey on 0 points. So Wales getting the result that they are hoping to have come 90 minutes and come 10-7. As it stands, they'll get second place and we'll be playing the runner-up in Group B in the Dutch city of Amsterdam over the next week or so. Here is now Bastoni, now Jorginho, now Bonucci, out to Chiesa, gets away from Williams. It's a really good play by Chiesa on the right-hand corner of the box, crosses in, and then it's just about done enough to be defended by the Welsh defence. Is Verratti, as Italy come again? Hopefully they can play it right this time. Crossing by Bastoni, Belotti attacks it. It's got to Chiesa, and he's flashed it. Well out of play in the end for a goal kick. Belotti jumped, missed it. Chiesa was at the back post, free as a bird, but he's just unable to guide it goalwards. Belotti attacks it. Williams couldn't head it behind him, and Chiesa's actually hit it. It's come off Ethan Ampadu, just went toward the back post. It's gone off the side of his thigh and out for a corner kick as he just turns his body away from it. But that looked like that might have been going wide anyway. But of course, as a defender, you're never sure. You just got to put your body in front of it. And that's what Ampadu did. Corner here for the Italians from the left-hand side. Bernardeschi takes. It's a high one beyond the penalty spot and away by Nico Williams. Good bit of defending there as Marco Verratti lets it run for a throw. Takes it quickly. Wales were just a little bit slow to get out. It's gone to Bernardeschi. Cross goes in. Danny Williams has kept that in play. It looked like it was a 50-50 in terms of whether or not he'd actually done enough to keep that in play, but the video Atigan has concluded that that was the right decision, and Joe Morel has just played a real loose ball out on the right-hand side. The right wing back, Connor Roberts, could do nothing to get to. Emerson gets away from Roden. He goes down, Emerson. Goal kick. Well, Emerson showed a good burst of pace to get beyond Joe Roden, and he goes down, the Italy left back. I think he knows that there wasn't really enough sufficient contact by Joe Roden there. He actually fell over. More than anything else, as Emerson just loses his footing on his own self, and it's gone out of play for a goal kick. As we are 30 minutes into it, Italy 0, Wales 0, and a game you listen to on the commentary hub. So as it stands, Wales are in second, Italy top, Switzerland third. And of course, Switzerland had to play a bit of a nervous game in terms of whether they've done enough to qualify as one of the best four sides who finished in third. Only 4 out of 6 will get there. 2 will not be going through. 4 will. Let's hope Switzerland, for their sake, are one of them. As Toloi gives it to Marco Verratti. Now on the ball is Verratti again. Out to the left with Bastoni. The Italian fullbacks, pretty much Emerson, this point is very much in keeping with his playing so high that they almost effectively are playing with a back three to almost go with Wales' shape when they're in possession. So that's something that Wales have got to watch out for. As Ward's kick was one that was straight to Chiesa, but he couldn't get it under control, and then it's just sliced out by Chris Gunter as he got that return following that bad touch by Chiesa, who's starting to come into this game as the Juventus loanee. We've seen glimpses of what a good player he can be for Italy in the latter stages of the tournament, should they ever feel the need to rely on him. First 2 games, he's not been needed for an immediate impact, but of course, when you've got that depth that Italy have got, like many good sides at this tournament, it is so good to just have in your armoury if things aren't going to plan. Here is now Jorginho. High ball out to the right, which Chiesa will get under control. But as he got it under control, he just tried to just knock it on the inside of Nico Williams, but that heavy touch sees it go out of play for a goal kick. As I think the one thing that you could say about the Welsh so far is they've not really given Danny Ward a real big save to make. Against Turkey, he kind of had to make some good saves in the second half. Against Switzerland in particular, they really found themselves under a real storm of pressure, wave after wave of attack from Switzerland. But this game against Italy, the toughest side in the group, they've defended well, they've been compact, their shape is good, the tactics have been good, and I think Rob Page has got to be encouraged by this. Danny Ward with the kick. Once again out to the right-hand side. Bale out jump by Bastoni, but there's an arm in the back on Bale again. As Bastoni is penalised for near enough the same offence, with a hand this time going on the neck stroke shoulder sort of area, in between that, the trap area of Gareth Bale as he goes down. Remember, if you are trying to keep up the permutations, Switzerland lead Turkey by 2-0. Haris Seferovic and Xherdan Shaqiri with both goals in that game that mean that Wales are under even more pressure now to just try and get a result that will guarantee second place. It will be Dan James who takes his free kick. It's a ball that Rodon flicks on, but straight through to Donnarumma. He gets up high, he goes out to the left-hand side, back post really, and he just tries to head that down. I think really in that position, you've got to try and head it across, but Rodon really just got up and headed it straight to the keeper. There is a foul by Dan James as Video Atagan has seen the ball stop in play. Bale and Bonucci both having words, the two captains on the pitch. The man who went down was Emerson as he was caught by Dan James. Just left a bit of his studs into his ankle. As the man who was fouled actually was Marco Verratti. I do apologise, but still it was certainly a rash challenge by Dan James. As is Donnarumma out towards Toloi. That's a really nice first touch to bring it inside. Right on the halfway line, he plays it forward to Belotti. Down the middle of the pitch now. Short ball out to Pessina. Here's Chiesa again, taking on Williams, who's had to really keep his eye on him tonight. Chiesa gets it back from Verratti, but then his high ball out to the left is defended well by Dan James as Wales are sitting in. It's so important not to allow the Azzurri, the Italians, the chance to get a shot on Danny Ward's goal, because usually when they have been given chances, it's gone into the back of the net. Big chances anyway, that is. Verratti. Now with Bonucci. Bastoni. Bonucci again. Verratti. Toloi. To Pessina. Toloi again. Now Chiesa down the left-hand side. Italy been forced back just a little bit as their defence, apart from Bonucci and the goalie Donnarumma, all inside Wales's half, given that is just how high they are playing and how much Wales have got a high shape. That's a lovely ball for Belotti to chase. He slides in, just drifts away from him at the last moment. But they're looking for him, and he's a player that they're not really keeping an eye on at the moment, Wales. He's escaped their eye line just a few times too many. That's the ball that Belotti wants, isn't it? That one that's going to stretch the defence. If you get that touch right, you think he's probably going to go one-on-one and put the ball in the back of the net, and that is what the worry is for Wales. Not the best kick by Ward. Out. Took under control nicely by Emerson. Jorginho to Verratti. Bernardeschi. Maybe an opportunity to shoot. Bernardeschi does. Good block by Joe Rodon, who just didn't even have to move there as the ball cannoned off his back foot. As Emerson takes a throw to Bastoni. Jorginho to Rafael Toloi. Now to Chiesa down his right-hand side. As they attack the Welsh left. Verratti is fouled there by the Welsh midfielder. I believe that was Joe Allen. Ramsey was around there as well, but if they got a free kick around about 18 yards out. Yeah, Chiesa gives it to Verratti, and then he just gets fouled by Joe Allen. He just sort of just goes into the back of him. I think Joe Allen's just got to stand off him there. He's got to be smarter in that position, and it's a real nice position for Italy to really whip this in. Verratti and Bernardeschi both over this. Dan James and Ramsey are both in the ball. Dan James and Ramsey are a real considerable height difference. One's tall, one's small. James being the small one out of the two. It's a free kick sort of just about in the middle towards the right-hand side. Dead level with the right-hand corner of the box. There's two Italy players on the edge of the box. There's two in the Welsh. There's actually three Italian players in the Welsh final third. Can they get this cross right? And let's hope for Wales fans at home they can't. It's going to be Bernardeschi and Verratti who are over this. If I was going to guess, it was going to be Verratti to take. It will be Verratti. Ball goes in, it's touched on, and into the net it goes. It's Matteo Pessina, and Italy have got their goal. It's a first ever major tournament goal for the Atalanta man. It was a low cross in. Pessina was found. He just clipped it well beyond Danny Ward into the corner of the net. And Italy lead Wales by 1-0 at the Stadio Olimpico. Wow, it's a free kick that I don't think the Welsh expect, because Verratti just doesn't really whip this in with pace. He just almost passes it onto the foot of Matteo Pessina. And I just felt with Joe Allen, the experience he's got, he shouldn't be giving a free kick away there like that. But it's really clever. It's so simple. Pessina just makes that run. The man who's not watching him for Wales is Joe Morel. He just allows Pessina just to get that flick on. And the one thing Pessina hopes, he's just got to get it away from Danny Ward to his right. And he's done exactly that. It's gone right into the corner of him. No chance for him. And Italy lead with less than 10 minutes of the first half to go. Well, one of the 8 changes to the side. Of course, Manuel Locatelli scored 2 from central midfield on Wednesday night against Switzerland. Matteo Pessina has just scored for Italy here to give them the lead in their final group game against Wales, as they got another free kick here as there was a foul just in the middle of the pitch. It was a foul on Federico Chiesa, I believe, but Wales now, who have actually defended quite well in the game, have got to hope that things just turn around for them. It was Belotti that was actually pushed in the back there as the referee Ovidiu Atagan has given it. Now out to Chiesa. Falls Dan James into crossing, does cross on his left foot. Eventually Emerson to the back post. Nobody in red saw him, was even aware that he made the run, and then he volleyed it back in to try and get the fellow blue shirt that would tuck it in. But unfortunately, there was a Welsh defence just there to just stop it going on through. But testing times now for Wales, potentially in the final sort of 4.5 minutes of this first half. Italy 1, Wales 0. Switzerland 2, Turkey 0 in the other game in Baku. Italy are ending the group with a perfect record. 3 wins from 3 as it stands. Wales on 4, Switzerland on 4, but Wales have a superior goal difference. Of course, it's in the positive. Switzerland is still minus. +1 to -1 as it stands. So Wales hold second. Chiesa to Verratti. Switzerland would dearly love for Wales to be on the wrong end of another Italian goal. Bernardeschi, Pessina, Verratti. Out to Bastoni. Emerson. Now Verratti again. The Italians are queuing up. Left, right and centre. That's a lovely ball from Pessina to attack, and it's just gone beyond the post. Verratti put that into the middle. Pessina made the run. The runners through the middle are causing Wales some considerable problems tonight. And he is within a whisker of touching that in. He actually gets a touch to it. But unfortunately for Pessina, he's actually touched it away from the goal, as it is a corner, in fact, for the Italians, as it's come off a Welsh player. So what a good bit of defending that actually proved to be. Bernardeschi's going to take. In it goes. Really good delivery. And it's bounced off. A Welsh outfielder into the hands of Danny Ward, who once again was well placed just to catch it. But some of the Italian crosses are really causing Wales some real problems. And something has, in that respect, got to maybe just change. Maybe just limit the corners, limit the set pieces. Italy have scored from a set piece through Matteo Pessina in the game, and they have been good value for the lead. Wales were doing well. They were holding out. They were limiting Italy, you could say, but it just hasn't quite managed to just last them all the way through to the end of the first 45 minutes. Poor ball by Ramsey, cut out well by the Italian midfield. Verratti runs straight into Ethan Ampadu, and then Ramsey fouls Matteo Pessina, the Italian goal scorer, and it's a free kick. Yeah, Pessina just gets fouled in there. Stamps on the foot of Aaron Ramsey. Ramsey steps on the foot of Pessina, and it's a clear free kick. 2 minutes of the game to go. Italy 1, Wales 0. That's a lovely ball for Belotti, but as he was trying to just let the ball come across him, it's actually just hit the side of his face and gone on through to Danny Ward, who rolls it out to Ethan Ampadu, who won't be afraid to bring it out from centre-back. Out to the right now with Joe Morale, was alongside him. Plays it short out to the right wing with Connor Roberts. Now to Bale. Bonucci gets in there first. Ramsey. Roberts. Morale again. Ramsey. Plays it high for Bale to attack onto, but he tries to get it under control and he just can't trap it. And it's gone out of play for an Italy goal kick. Well, Roberto Mancini's side came into the tournament with a phenomenal record. 10 wins from 10 in qualifying. They managed to hit San Marino for 7 in a pre-warm-up friendly. And then, of course, they managed to get 4 against the Czech Republic in another warm-up friendly. So they've really come into the tournament in great form, and they've not conceded in 10 international matches, and they really are flying, aren't they, Roberto Mancini's side? And many felt they would go a long way in this tournament, but it's proven to be that those words and those predictions are really hatching and are really emerging, as they've been a real strong contender for, you could say, team of the group stages. But can Wales try to go into the break level? Bale hasn't been involved nearly enough as Rob Page or Wales would have liked. Joe Morel in the middle now for Wales. Out to the right with Connor Roberts. Well away from the Italian goal as the Italians just squeeze up to just try and put the press on. We're about to find out how much stoppage time there will be from the fourth official, Oral Grinfeld. We will have no such stoppage time, as that is half-time at the Stadio Olimpico in Rome. Matteo Pessina's goal is the difference between the two at the break. He flicked in a Marco Verratti free kick, which has given Roberto Mancini's side the lead in a game that, of course, is to determine who's going to finish top of the group. It is Italy that have the better of Wales in the Italian capital, Rome. Half-time, Italy 1, Wales 0.
Thank you, Matt. And it's coming up towards half-time in the other Group A match. We're into the final 20 seconds of that, and Switzerland still lead by the 2-0, which we brought you during the commentary. And they're on the attack down this right-hand side is Severovic, on the left, should I say, into Granit Xhaka, who knocked the ball into the path of Freuler. Freuler out wide it goes to Widmer cutting on the edge. Shaqiri there too. Shaqiri's shot is blocked, and that is also now at half-time. So both games are at half-time, and it's 1-0 to Italy and 2-0 to Switzerland at the break. And Switzerland have deserved to be in the lead. The first goal came after a good bit of play from Severovic, from Stefan Zubru, slipped it to Aris Severovic on the edge of the box, and he found the bottom right-hand corner with a superb effort. And then, brilliant finish again. This time was by Shaqiri, after he collected a pass on the edge of the box from Stefan Zuber as well. Produced a brilliant strike into the top right corner to make it 2-0. Shaqiri could have then had a second for himself and a third for Switzerland when Kakir made a brilliant save as he weaved his way through the defence and fired the ball towards a bottom left-hand corner. But Kakir kept out, stuck out a leg to put it behind for a corner. Mulder for Turkey went close as he beat his marker and released a shot from the edge of the box, which Sommer managed to make a fantastic stop from. And then Mulder again forced another great stop out of Jan Sommer after guiding past 2 defenders, and Sommer made a fantastic stop. And it's 2-0 to Switzerland at the break, 1-0 to Italy at the break. We're back in a couple of minutes to get some reaction to Matt from that first half, and also I'll give you a reaction to this first half as well. Both games half time, Italy 1, Wales 0, Switzerland 2, Turkey 0. Back in a couple of minutes. welcome back to the Commentary Hub's coverage of Euro 2020 Group A encounter between Italy and Wales. Italy lead by a goal to nil. Also updates on Switzerland against Turkey, 2-0 to Switzerland in the first half. And if we just go across to Matt Iles, who's been watching the game between Italy and Wales. And Matt, if you can just, who's been the better side for you in the first half? Is Wales defended really, really well and we were looking to go behind for you?
Yeah. Well, I think that was the main thing. I think obviously, they were kind of expecting and hoping that first of all they would be really tight and be very, very tough to break down. And I actually think they have actually defended quite well. I think Italy have not quite been as free-flowing or as energetic as they were in the previous sort of two games against Turkey and Switzerland respectively. So I think Wales do deserve a bit of a pat on the back, but ultimately they've got nothing to show for it. They're behind in the game, but they're showing signs that they can try and cause Italy a problem or two. But I think second half they just need to try and just try and up things a little bit if they're going to try and get back into the game, because they'll be aware of what's going on in Baku, with Switzerland 2-0 up and giving them a run for their money and trying to make it hard for them. So if they could just get a goal, it would just ease the nerves just a little bit more that might just be creeping in amongst the players and staff.
Yes, and I've just seen the decision to give the Italians that free kick, and Joe Allen shouldn't have challenged him like that. The Verratti was not going anywhere, and the other Welsh players around him and could have called that out. So it was silly from Allen, as you mentioned on commentary. I've just seen that as well. And like I said with the goal, there was just like a pass into him, and then he just deft touch to the bottom corner. Very, very poor defending from Wales, I must have to say. Man, would you have to agree with me on that one?
Yeah, 100%. Both aspects. I think Joe Allen should be making the foul in the first place. 31-year-old player in that position. Verratti's got his back to the Welsh goal, so he shouldn't be making that foul in there. Just stay off him. Don't make the foul and just let him play, because they were in a good shape, Wales. They were sort of just maintaining that disciplined, structured shape that they found themselves in. And he makes that foul, and moving on to the free kick now. Yes, it looks pretty simple on paper, but it's got to work. They've both got to be in tune with each other, in sync. And Pessina just makes that run, completely catches the Welsh defence up, because a lot of them were pretty much in the middle. They had that high line, and of course they were, ready and expecting the ball to be played over their heads, rather than played sort of chest height, leg, sort of knee height, if you like, into Pessina. And it was such a clever finish from the Atalanta man that, it was a really good finish and really well-worked goal as well. And, it might not get the credit it deserves, but that does take a lot of practice to get right, believe me.
Yes, it does, Matt. I've seen it plenty of times, people practicing it time and time again before it actually comes to perfection. I think that's what you would probably call, Matt, that free kick from Italy, a training ground routine, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, it might be coming down from Wales's weaknesses in terms of how they set up for set pieces or free kicks, or it might just be coming down to just trying something different. Maybe they wanted to be a bit creative and a bit inventive. And, when you've got the players on the pitch like Jorginho, Verratti and Pessina in the middle to try and pull something off like that, why not try it? If it doesn't come off, you don't try it again. But then if it does come off, you look $1 million as a team, don't you? So, yeah, I think that was straight from the training ground, Ross, and something that was devised from there as well, shall we say.
Yes, and something which Wales didn't look at, some potential options, what they could do in those situations. Then read that situation, I think was we're expecting it to be across. In the other game, though, Matt, in the game which I've been watching, Turkey started well early on with an effort coming from Ayan, and then after that, Switzerland just totally dominated, got that goal from Severovic, and then went from there and just could have had more goals, chances after that for Switzerland, and then they got the second through Shaqiri, which was another superb goal. And then, as I mentioned, just towards the end of the first, as we were opening up for half time in that game, which I've been commentary towards the end of as well, Shaqiri could have had a second and Switzerland could have had a third, which that would have really pulled the cat amongst the pigeons for Wales, and they would be scratching their heads wondering what they'd have to do next. But Switzerland 2-0 up at the break, and for me, Matt, Switzerland deserve it. Yes, taking on their chances, but Switzerland really do deserve to be in the lead in their game. So Wales, if Wales are to get through, I think they really need to score in the game against Italy and try and get at least a draw or a win, because I can't see Switzerland letting off yet. They're still going for it, and they're still going for it up until the final whistle, half-time whistle in that first half.
Well, one thing I think what Switzerland will be hoping happens is that Italy can at least get another goal. If they can get, one or two, then that really shifts the balance of power. Of course, Wales, of course, did beat Turkey, and, that's what it's going to come down to, isn't it? It's just going to come down to goal difference, because head-to-head, it looks like both are losing. Of course, Wales could easily equalise and get a positive result, but, of course, head-to-head, it's almost pretty much not going to come down to it. It's just going to come down to goal difference. So I think if Wales were to concede early in this second half, it might just strike a little bit of fear and maybe a bit of anxiety in those players, but it will make those Switzerland players be really buoyant, because, of course, they're going to have information, aren't they, about what's going on in each of the respective games.
Yes, and I know a lot of managers will say they aren't heard what was happening or they don't know what's happening, but if the managers don't know, one of the backroom staff will find out, and
100%.
the manager may not want to know. He may not want the players to know. They may just want the players to focus on their responsibility. Then after the game, find out how they've gone and where they finished in the group. But I think Wales and Rob Page will be hoping for a positive start to the second half, and hope they can go on to get a positive result, like you mentioned, Matt. And I think they could potentially do get a positive result in the second half. Hopefully we'll see some more goals in the second half as we get ready for second half action. The players back out on the pitch in both games. So let's send over to your match commentator, Matt Ayos, and updates from me from Switzerland. Turkey is coming up soon. Matt.
Thank you very much, Russ. Yes, of course, Russ will be keeping you across what is going on in Baku. Switzerland currently 2-0 up against Turkey, really putting the pressure onto Wales, really making life potentially difficult for them. We're going to see a change at the break for Italy as Francisco Acerbi is going to come on in place of Leonardo Bonucci, as Wales are just about to head on onto the field of players. A few of the players are just going through a brief discussion before they head onto the Stadio Olimpico pitch. And the Italian players are doing the same. Jorginho, Bernardeschi and Verratti maybe chatting away about certain things that maybe need to be improving. But of course, what is important for the Azzurri is they are 1-0 up. They are heading to 3 wins out of 3 in the group. They are currently going to finish the group without conceding a goal. And of course, they are going to have 3 straight wins as well. And of course, for Italy, should they make it a 30-match unbeaten run, which is on the line, it'll be their best run since 1935 and 1939. So confirmation of that change as Francisco Acerbi has come on in place of Leonardo Bonucci come half-time. And Bonucci certainly didn't look injured. I don't think that's come down to it. I think maybe Mancini's just thinking ahead to what lies. Of course, as it stands, they will be playing in London next week in the round of 16. Of course, the winner will be facing the runner-up of Group C, which will either be Austria or Ukraine as the second half gets underway. And whoever finishes second will be facing the runner-up in Group B, which will be either Finland, Denmark, Russia in that group. So that will be confirmation tomorrow. So as it stands, who Wales will be playing, and of course Switzerland will then have to find out over the next coming days whether they have made the best third place positions. Only 4 of the 6 sides who finish in the group stages will be in the round of 16 as one of the best third place sides. It's Italy get us underway. They're in their blue shirts, white shorts, blue socks. Wales in all red. I'll go through the sides quickly. Donnarumma in goal. Rafael Toloi is at right back. Acerbi's gone on in place of Bonucci. Bastoni and Emerson, the other two defenders. The three in midfield, the goal scorer Pessina, Jorginho and Verratti. The three up front, Chiesa, Belotti and Bernardeschi. The subs, Sirigu, Mere, Di Lorenzo, Spinazzola, Locatelli, Castrovilli, Cristante, Barella, Insigne, Raspadori and Immobile. For Wales, they have no changes made at the break. It's a 3-4-3. Danny Ward in goal. Gunter, Roden, Ampadu, Roberts, Allen, Morel, Williams, Bale, Ramsey, Dan, James. Going from goalkeeper to left winger, of course. And the subs, Hennessy, Adam Davies, Ben Davies, Tom Lockyer, Reece Norrington Davis, Chris Mepham, Harry Wilson, Johnny Williams, David Brooks, Dylan Levitt, Tyler Roberts and Kiefer Moore. We are 100 seconds into the second half. It is Italy 1, Wales 0, just as it was at the end of the first half. Here is now Chris Gunter on the ball, gives it to Nico Williams, plays it into Joe Allen, who of course made that costly foul, which of course has given Italy the lead in this game. The slenderest of margins, but what Wales will be hoping for is they don't concede a second, because what's going on in Baku means that Switzerland are hoping that Italy can do them a favour and score at least two to really put the balance of second place very much 50-50 rather than sort of 60-40, 70-30, whatever way you look at it. As Bastoni heads it away above Bale, who goes down, and Verratti was looking like he was going to attack it, but eventually just missed it out. Here is Nico Williams on the ball now for Wales, just inside Italy's half is where he's crept forward into. Ramsey to Dan James, who goes down. Fouled by Toloi, free kick given. Ovidiu Atagan, the referee from Romania, was quick to give that. Of course, he is supported by Radu Gingulak and Sebastian George on the either assistant flanks. Fourth officials, Oral Grinfeld from Israel. There's Pavel Gil from Poland as the VAR. The two assistants from France, Francois Letexier and Benjamin Paget, and Paul Van Bokel is the third VAR assistant. And of course, the VAR referees are actually quite interested in this tournament because they're looking at various different things throughout the tournament. They're not just there to assist the referee, they're in multiple different areas in terms of what they do. As Wales have possession with Ethan Ampadu. Now, of course, VAR 1 concentrates on the following match. The offside VAR, VAR 2, reviews all potential offside situations, and the VAR 3 acts as in a coordination capacity. So, of course, he's there to just sort of that as a, you could say, a adjudicator and almost be in line to help make the decisions, as well as seeing sort of the positions of the players and how the sort of player went in, as Gareth Bale has gone down. Ovidiu Atagan is calling over Alessandro Bastoni, who's certainly made a few challenges in on Gareth Bale. As we are 4 minutes into the second half, as Bale sent flying. Inter Milan defender Bastoni has just had a word from Ovidiu Atagan, who's pretty much now laid down the law after a few challenges he'd done before. Had been unnoticed, but not so much anymore. Given away by Ampadu. Here is now the midfielder Pessina. Good challenge though by Joe Allen. He got that one right in the middle of the pitch. Wales have possession with Ampadu. Poked through by Ramsey to Gareth Bale. Gets away from Bastoni. Good strength shown by the Welsh captain. Now is Nico Williams taking on Toloi. Goes on the inside of Bastoni, who comes out to defend it. Wales can't quite get through the Italian defence, who stand firm and clear it away. And it's cleared away by Francisco Acerbi, who's had a real personal battle and journey. Of course, when he was playing for Sassuolo a few years ago, he actually was diagnosed with testicular cancer and made a fantastic recovery. And that is a real bit of vindication for him. And he's got his 16th cap tonight, 1 goal, and actually plays his cup football at the Stadio Olimpico with Lazio, who of course have just appointed Maurizio Sarri as their new manager. Good challenge got in by Marco Verratti on Aaron Ramsey. Now Italy come and have it with Chiesa, who's been blocked off. Advantage play. Belotti goes down under the challenge of Joe Allen. And now the play is finally stopped. And there will be a yellow card for Joe Allen, who makes another foul around about 20 yards from his own goal as he's finally penalised. He made the foul on Verratti, which led to Italy scored from that free kick with around about 6 minutes of the first half to go through Pessina. It goes into the back of Belotti. I think this one's a bit more of a cleverer tactical foul because Belotti's in a bit of space, and I think he was actually going to line one up. Yes, you could say the defender was going to block it, but you're just never sure. That never really creeps into your mind when you're trying to defend that in that instance. And obviously just before that, there was another foul on an Italian player, but this is a really good chance to potentially do the same again, or even maybe shoot at Danny Ward's goal. Danny Ward's got to make sure that he gets his wall right. There looks like there's at least 4 in the Wales wall as a video Atagana just put the spray down as the Welsh players just strayed forward as they are not in the 10 yards. They are now as the line has been drawn. Bernardeschi is fancying this, so is Verratti. Bale, Rodon are 2 of the 4 in the wall. There's 3 Italian players in front of them and there's 3 behind them, so they are thinking of something here. Maybe a different kind of routine that they've pre-planned. It will be Bernardeschi who's going to take. It's going to be Verratti who dummies it. Bernardeschi with his left foot goes around the wall and hits the post. He went low and it was a really good free kick. Danny Ward was stretching, he was beaten. But Bernardeschi cruelly has it taken off him via the post. It's a really good free kick. He goes around the wall. Beyond Joe Morrell, Danny Ward was diving. He was a beaten man. Really clever free kick from Bernardeschi because I think the Welsh players expect him to go over the wall, or if not, maybe go high towards Danny Ward's right-hand side. He went low and nearly caught the keeper out. And it still remains Italy 1, Wales 0. I'll just go over to Russ for the second half in Baku. It's probably around about 7 or 8 minutes in that game. And are Turkey showing any signs of getting back into it at all, Russ?
No, Matt. Switzerland have had the better of the chances of the start of the second half, and just as come to it, and they was trying to break forward for Turkey, but Switzerland have just started the better of the 2 once again and still keeping on the pressure. They're just coming on down the right hand side at the moment. Shaqiri's on possession at the moment, just knocking the ball backwards. So Turkey have started like the end of the first, very, very slow and sluggish.
Yeah, still 2-0 in that one. Just as Russ was speaking, Aaron Ramsey found himself in the Italy box, but he just got in that position and then just sort of didn't really know what he was going to do next, as he just tried to maybe walk the ball in the net and wait for support to arrive as Chiesa tries to get the better of Nico Williams. It's taken quickly by Chiesa, who throws it into the path of Pessina. Chiesa gets it back, pokes it through, looking for Belotti. Good sliding, crucial challenge by Joe Rodon as the Italians have come out firing in the second half, and Toloi plays the ball through to Belotti. Doesn't reach the Italy number line. He would have been offside anyway. That's good defending. Smart play by Pessina, who certainly made his chance come good in the opening sort of 54 minutes in his first start in a major tournament. High ball by Acerbi. Belotti's made the run on the right, but he goes for the volley and smacks it high over the crossbar and into the stand behind the goal. But just with that Ramsey chance, there was that opening where it was missed by Acerbi, and then he just saw Donnarumma in front of him just dive at his feet, and then he just didn't want to shoot, and then he kind of cut it back, and in the end, he was unable to pick a red shirt out. But it's those positions there where Wales will hope to profit from via an Italian mistake of some sort, as the pass from Ampadu is cut up by Bernardeschi. Ampadu has fouled Bernardeschi, who's rolling round, and that is a red card for Ethan Ampadu. Ovidiu Atagan very quick to make the decision. He cannot believe it, Ethan Ampadu, that he's been sent off. And Wales, who find themselves 1-0 down in Rome, now find themselves a man down, with Ethan Ampadu being sent off for what the referee has deemed as a late challenge on Federico Bernardeschi. Well, it happened so quickly. He gives the ball away, then Bernardeschi wins it in the middle. He goes in there. Oh, it's really heavy on his ankle there, isn't it? And obviously it was a real rash challenge. Really digs it in there. He's quick to make the decision. The referee, of course, he doesn't need VAR to consult him there with that one. Ampadu puts his hands on his head. Rob Page isn't happy about it. It is a decision where you do almost maybe say that he's a bit unlucky. And of course, unfortunately for Wales, it's come at a price because Ampadu sent off, and it's going to force Rob Page into a reshuffle. And Ovidiu Atagan showed a red card 6 days ago to Grzegorz Krychowiak when Poland got beat by Slovakia. He's now repeated the feat by sending off Ethan Ampadu as he went in on Federico Bernardeschi. And Ampadu came in place of Ben Davies today, has been sent off. And now the challenge for Wales has just become even harder, as the Italians might now look to just try and score a few more. But this could really benefit Switzerland, who still find themselves 2-0 up. And this is the game listening to on the Commentary Hub, the home of alternative commentary. Here's Emerson to Marco Verratti. Shifts it out to the right with a low ball to Francisco Acerbi. Now to Marco Verratti. Out to Emerson on the left-hand side. This is a big 10 less minutes for Wales, you could say. A second goal goes in. It might even be more for Italy, as they're really potentially rubbing their hands at the idea of this. This is good play by Chiesa, away from Williams. Now away from Dan James. Chiesa hits it, but the shot lets him down, and he just sort of just hits it along the ground and tamely into Danny Ward's hands. We just get to here, Chiesa from that right. Nutmegs Nico Williams. See you later. Then he goes on the inside of Dan James. Shows him far too much to the inside. He just tries to bend it beyond Danny Ward, and the keeper saves it. Well, the Italians have been imperious in these championships so far. They haven't quite been at the levels as they were in their opening 2 games against Turkey and Switzerland, but they are showing controlling signs nonetheless, as they came into this tournament in absolutely magnificent form. Their last defeat, of course, came against Portugal in the Nations League in September 2018. So they're on a near 3-year unbeaten run in all competitions, which is absolutely impressive, to say the least. As, of course, as it stands in this group, Italy will top it on 9 points and will go to Wembley for the round of 16 against the runner-up in Group C, which will either be Ukraine or Austria. You'll find that out tomorrow with those games kicking off at 5. Mike Harneman's on the mic for Holland, North Macedonia. Of course, Holland are already top of Group C. They're already the first sort of place side guaranteed in terms of where they'll be playing. Here's Belotti, takes it down in the box for Verratti, backheels it to Bernardeschi, but Belotti is offside as the attack just had to be fizzled out before the flag could be raised. And yes, Belotti is quite clearly offside, as the flag was rightly raised in that situation. He's always quick off his toes, isn't he, Belotti? He's always fast. He's always wanted to just play off it, isn't he? He's trying to add a different dimension. With Wales playing high, it just gives that opportunity to just try and do exactly that. Joe Morrell is off for Wales as Rob Page's rethink has seen Kiefer Moore come on. He, of course, got the equaliser against Switzerland that meant that they got a point in Baku in game 1. He now comes on, hopefully, to just change the course of this game for Wales, in which is going to be a very hard final sort of half hour. And as I said, Italy top on 9 points. Wales on 4, Switzerland 4. But due to the fact that Wales have a positive goal difference and Switzerland have a minus, it means that Wales will finish above Vladimir Petkovic's side. And Turkey will go home pointless, goalless, and of course, winless. Dan James trying to get around Bastoni. Free kick to Wales in a good position. Just on the right-hand side of the box as Bastoni left an arm in on Dan James, who's so tenacious, and he really doesn't give it up. He's so determined, is Dan James, and does his usual and just wins a free kick. He's so used to just taking it into the side, isn't he, Dan James? And this does represent a good opportunity for Wales, as it will be Dan James who's going to take it, not Gareth Bale, as they might maybe just try to look to use him for his aerial ability here, as he is in the box. Italy have got a fair few back. Verratti's the only man in the wall, as Ovidiu Atagan is just wanting a word with Verratti, now wearing the captain's armband for the Azzurri. Can Wales equalise? They will find themselves 1-0 down with an hour gone. It's going to be Dan James to take it. There's 6 Wales players inside the Italy box. It's got to be a good delivery from Dan James. Takes his time. It's not a bad one, but it's defended well by Pacino, who just steps in to just head that away. Heads it straight to Connor Roberts. Now Nico Williams. Ball is out to the right looking for James. Verratti gets under control and just plays it to Jorginho. Now Bastoni with a heavy touch. Kiefer Moore stepped in. Bastoni, of course, cleverly didn't actually try to just boot that away because he knew he would have caught Kiefer Moore. Here is now Toloi. Chiesa, good ball in, looking for Belotti. Good clearance by Chris Gunter. Really well chased, really well intercepted by Chris Gunter. Had he not been there, that goes to Belotti. That's 2-0 to Italy. And we will cross over to Russ Vernon just to give us an update on Switzerland-Turkey very, very shortly, as Roberto Mancini is just telling his players instructions. And what is a real sultry, warm night in Rome. Verratti. It's going to be an absorbing exercise this for Wales in terms of just trying to just keep it at 1-0. Not give any more of a chance for Switzerland to leapfrog them in second place. And then Ramsey makes the challenge on Verratti. It's going to be a monstrous effort for Wales off the ball, both mentally and physically. And the real heat and humidity in Rome, it's just going to make life really, really difficult. We will now go to Russ Vernon because it's been a third goal in the Switzerland-Turkey game in Baku. And have Switzerland piled even more pressure onto Wales, Russ? Or is there a bit of hope for Rob Page's side?
Matt, I would like to tell you there's a bit of hope for Rob Page's side as Switzerland 1 and Switzerland 2, Turkey 1. Ivrankovic slots the ball past the goalkeeper after a brilliant bit of play, and he sent it into the top corner. And Switzerland had no chance. Chancellor had no chance. It's Switzerland 2, Turkey 1, and Rob Page's side has a bit of hope. And we played 63 minutes here. Switzerland 2, Turkey 1, Matt.
Kiefer Moore wins a free kick. So that is fantastic news for Wales. As, of course, Russ confirmed, Irfan Kaveci scored. And what a goal that is as well. To pull one back for Turkey, of course, as they are dead and buried now. They're going to be probably going home pointless, but they are certainly not going to be empty on the goal-scoring tally as Irfan Kaveci has scored that goal. So Wales have got a free kick. And now as it stands, it stays as it is. Italy on 9, Wales on 4, Switzerland on 4 as well, but Wales still with a +1 goal difference and Switzerland with a -2. So it does mean now that Switzerland have to at least get 3 if it means that they are going to be leapfrogging Wales into second place. Headed by Moore, just headed straight to Pacino, who's in a really good position to just carry the ball a long way, still going at it, no red shirt around him. Slides it through to Chiesa, that's a sliding challenge by Williams. Chiesa still keeps it and he could square it to Belotti, and he's denied by Danny Ward from close range. That's the chance he wanted, Andrea Belotti. Really good setup play by Chiesa, didn't give up. Williams thought he'd done enough to just tab it out of play for a corner kick, but it went straight to Belotti, who hit it straight at Danny Ward, who's actually saved it with his right knee and has gone the other side of him on his left and out for a corner kick. Federico Chiesa has been really, really good tonight. Really sharp for Italy. Plays a really good ball, low to Belotti. He's just got to put it away from the keeper, hasn't he? And he knows that, but still nonetheless, good bit of goalkeeping. 2 Italy players over on that right-hand side are going to take the corner. It's Verratti and Bernardeschi, who have both been consulting each other over free kicks at various points. The referee, Video Atigan, is wanting words with Chris Gunter and Matteo Pacino and Joe Rodon, as he's seen a bit of pushing and shoving before the ball has come in. 25 minutes of the game to go. 65 gone in total. Italy 1, Wales 0. Italy 1 up, and Wales, of course, find themselves a goal down and a man down. Ball goes in by Bernardeschi. Attacking it is Toloi. And the Brazilian-born right back for Italy tonight heads that one just wide at the near post. He's got to do a lot to get that. It's really fizzed in. He attacks it well. Ramsey just sticks his foot in the air. Toloi just wants it a little bit more. And it's just, in the end, gone well wide of the goal. But he's unlucky there. And had the ball had a little bit of pace, took off it, he would have flicked it into the net. Well, Rob Page and Wales will certainly take this result come 90 minutes, I think, given the fact that they are playing in the Stadio Olimpico against Italy, one of the hot favourites for the Euros. Of course, everybody knows that they are on this 29-match unbeaten run, looking ever more likely it's going to be 30. And, of course, they've not conceded in 10 games neither. So they are a team in remarkable form with quite crazy and ridiculous stats. And, of course, they just hope now that they don't give Switzerland even more of a chance to finish in second place. And as it stands, it is Switzerland 2, Turkey 1 in that game in Baku, with Wales still holding second place. Here's Bernardeschi coming in from the right, crosses in but slips. It's away by Joe Rodon. He just urges his team to get out. Now it's Bastoni, Verratti. Bernardeschi's in acres of space on that right-hand corner of the box, but he plays it short instead. Verratti to Bastoni. He goes high to fellow centre-back Kerby. Now to Bernardeschi. He's going to take on Nico Williams. He then plays it to Jorginho. Good feet to get away from Allen. Here's Emerson. He shoots. It's blocked off by Ramsey and gone out behind for a corner kick. They just played those short passes well in the box there, didn't they, Italy? Jorginho gets away from Joe Allen. He knows he can't make another challenge because he was booked. And he would, of course, given away a penalty. And Emerson there for me. He's got to let it back to Chiesa. He's straight ahead. He would have had more room to aim for. He went for goal. Ramsey was on the side of him. And it's a really good vital block anyway by Ramsey. Verratti to take the corner. Delivery is one that Danny Ward can't quite grasp at first. Made a bit of a mess of, in fact, but luckily he could only fumble it straight to Ramsey, who's just sent it out to the left-hand side, out of play for a throw. Danny Ward there didn't look the most convincing there, trying to claim that corner, I must admit. Verratti, let's try and get Pessina on the move and get him going, but it's just gone away through to Danny Ward, who's convincing with that take this time round, as he made a bit of a mess of that take there. 68 minutes gone at the Stadio Olimpico in Rome. The final time Italy, for the moment, will be playing in their capital city, in the Eternal City. It is Italy 1, Wales 0. Matteo Pessina's goal, 6 minutes before half-time, gave Italy the lead and still does. But, of course, the big talking point in this second half is that Ethan Ampadu was sent off for a straight red for a late challenge on Federico Bernardeschi. It's one that's certainly hot topic, you could say. We did see something similar in the Poland game last night when Brighton's Jakub Morda caught Gerard Moreno and actually only escaped, I think, with a yellow card. He might not even had any caution for that fact as well. But, of course, Ampadu got a straight red here, much to the surprise of himself and his manager. But Wales, since then, have held out and are doing the job as they just look to try and keep hold of second place primarily on goal difference. Here is now Jorginho. Out now to Pessina. Been a real tricky customer for the Welsh tonight. It's a lovely ball into Pessina again via Bernardeschi. Verratti's in the Welsh box. There's a sea of red right in front of him. There's 6 players back into, well, 7 now, including Dan James, who's just trickled back into a position in the final 20 yards. Jorginho out to Bernardeschi. Italy just waited for the right moment. Bernardeschi thought about getting the cross in, but just overdid it. And that's actually smart defending by Joe Allen. He just couldn't force him on the inside. And there's been another goal, in fact, in the Switzerland-Turkey game. And a bit of bad news once more for Rob Page and Wales, isn't it, Russ?
It is, Matt, and it's Switzerland 3, Turkey 1, and it's that man again, Steven Zuber with the assist, 3rd assist of the day for Steven Zuber. He collected the ball inside the penalty area, played the ball directly straight across to the other side where Xherdan Shaqiri, the Liverpool man, received the brilliant ball and the brilliant pass, and he fired it into the roof of the net to beat Kakia in the Turkey goal, and it's Switzerland 3, Turkey 1.
It still doesn't change anything for Switzerland in their position. They're still 3rd, but of course they are on a minus goal difference. If Wales was to concede another 2, it would mean that Switzerland would go above them, given, of course, they'd scored 1 against Turkey. And, of course, they scored 1 against Wales. And of course, they'd scored 3 against Turkey. Wales in total scored 3 goals in this tournament so far. So they just hope that Italy can score another 2 past them and just mean that they would leapfrog them into second place, because it doesn't come down to head in this group. It's going to come down to goal differences. Connor Roberts has won a throw for his side. There was 2 Italian players, Verratti and Bernardeschi, in the corner of the right-hand box, closing him down, and meaning that, of course, he's won a throw. He's going to throw it long in there. This could be Wales's best hope for an equaliser. Long thrown by Robertson. Rodon attacks it. It's away by the Italian defence. Pessina back there again. There was appeals from the Italian players for a handball of some sort. Ramsey clips it into the far right-hand side. Gone beyond Bale, left by Toloi, the Italian right back, and it's going to have to play for a goal kick. There are more live games to bring you. Group B and Group C will be rounded off tomorrow. It starts with Group C. Mike Arneman on the mic as the Netherlands take on North Macedonia. They are guaranteed top spot in Group C. And of course, there will be keeping an eye on the game of what goes on between Ukraine and Austria in Bucharest. And then also Group B, as I said, gets rounded off. Russ Vernon brings you Finland against Belgium. Belgium through to the last 16, not guaranteed top spot yet. And Russia take on Denmark. Myself on commentary duty for that, both at 8 o'clock, as Joe Rodon has conceded a corner, as it's now going to be a big effort for Wales to hold Italy to just 1. As Giacomo Raspadori and the number 16 for Italy, Brian Cristante, are going to be introduced very, very shortly. Bernardeschi and Verratti, both wearing those bright green luminous boots, both go over to the left-hand side to consult with the corner of each other. Verratti takes the corner. It's flicked on by someone at the near post. It was Toloi who won the header, but he just couldn't find anybody at the right side to flick it home. Yeah, it was flicked on actually by Toloi. Was looking for a Kerby, who just went a little bit too far forward. He was too central. If he made the run to the back post, he's got a header on goal. So Italy are going to make a double change very, very shortly. They've got another 4 subs they can make, as have Wales. As there's a Mexican wave going now as the Italian fans find their smile. And it does look like they're going to be bringing on Harry Wilson very, very shortly, Wales, as well as the Italians making a double change. So now these changes will take place as Bale is fouled once more by Bastoni, and surely now he's got to be receiving a caution. I mean, he's made 4 or 5 fouls. So Dan James's evening's over. He's run himself into the ground, but not really got in those positions or created anything really. It's not been that sort of game for Wales tonight, as Harry Wilson, who's fresh from a loan at Cardiff, comes on in his place. He got 5 minutes around about that time in Baku against Turkey in their last game, and we'll get more this time round. Change for Italy, Jorginho off. Started all 3 group matches. He'll come off as Brian Cristante of as Roma comes on. And we will also see another change in the offing for the Italians, with Federico Bernardeschi going off and Giacomo Raspadori coming on for him in his place. Raspadori has only made a few appearances for the Italian national team, plays his club football for Sassuolo, and comes on for rare minutes in the tournament. And to be exact, this will be his second cap as an Italian player, so a nice moment for him to get one at the European Championships. Free kick for Wales, 15 minutes to go. In it goes by Roberts, loops it up, headed on by Rodon to the back post. It's Bale! Oh, what a big, big opportunity for Gareth Bale. He was in absolute yards of space. Roberts found Rodon, who flicked it across to the left to Bale. He was about 7 yards out, and he's just rushed it and blazed it over. And if there was anybody on that pitch for Wales you wanted that chance to fall to, it was Gareth Bale, and he can't quite believe he's missed it, and I don't think his country can. Well, literally just had everybody sort of just shifting over to the right. Joe Rodon's header completely took a few Italian players out of it. It's gone on through to Bale, and what a chance. And he's just blazed it over the bar. I mean, that is as gilt as a chance He's going to miss, as you're likely to see. We'll head back over to Russ very shortly for more updates from Baku, with Switzerland leading Turkey by 3-1. You're listening to this game on the Commentary Hub, the home of alternative commentary. It is Italy 1, Wales 0. Italy will finish top of the group on 9 points, meaning they will have a round of 16 game at Wembley against either Austria or Ukraine, as they'll be facing the runners-up in Group C. Wales, as it stands, will play in Amsterdam, the Dutch capital, and face the runner-up of Group B, which will be either Belgium, Finland, Russia, or Denmark. And of course, they will be finding that out tomorrow. And Switzerland will be in third place on 4 points, and hope that they will have done enough out of those 4 sides who can go through from the six third place sides to have qualified for the round of 16 to continue their journey at these European Championships, as Kiefer Moore wins a free kick on the right-hand side of the pitch, just by the touchline, right in front of his coach, Rob Page, as the man who made the foul was the number 22, Giacomo Raspadori. No, sorry, it wasn't when we made the foul. It was actually Bellotti who made the foul, I should say. So I do apologise for that. It will be Roberts who will take the free kick. Headed on by Roden again, who's gone out to that left to just get the flick-ons and hopefully pick out a Welsh player. Here is Ramsey. Goes down, free kick given. Rob Page had his arms in the air just to say it. I think that might have convinced the referee, who actually didn't originally give that. It was Raspadori who did foul Ramsey. That is enough for a free kick. Ball goes in quickly. It's headed away well there by Brian Cristante. Ramsey heads it back in. Cristante away again. Ramsey tries to leave it. There was 2 sliding challenges in. One by Bellotti. Verratti made one. It's a good, clean challenge. Now Wales have got to shift over to the right because Italy are in. There is Toloi's got to get it from Akerbi's pass. He's got work to do. And it's a rather rushed and poor ball by Akerbi, who played it through to Toloi. But Toloi tried to keep it in and couldn't. Now time to head over to what's happening in Baku. It is currently still Switzerland 3, Turkey 1. Are Switzerland getting ever closer to a 4th goal, Russ, to really sort of just put the cat amongst the pigeons?
They are indeed, Matt, and they just had a free kick moments ago, and it was from Granit Xhaka, and the free kick came back off the post from the edge of the penalty area. It broke to the Switzerland number 11, the substitute Ruben Vargas, who's come on for Xherdan Shaqiri, who will not get his hat-trick today. And then the ball broke back for Xhaka, who went down in the penalty area. He wanted a penalty. He went to VAR, and VAR decided, Bastian Dankert is the man on VAR, he decided it was no penalty. Turkey on the attack now, and there's a fire just over the top there by Cengiz Under of Leicester City. It's still Switzerland 3, Turkey 1. 79 minutes on the clock.
As it is 79 minutes of this one in Rome, as Chris Gunter and Matteo Pessina both go into the book. So Video Atigan not afraid to show his cards, as he's shown to Ethan Ampadu. It's Italy 1, Wales 0, and Wales, of course, find themselves a man down as well. But Italy yet to really profit from it, as Wales are holding firm and keeping it at 1-0, and more importantly, not giving Switzerland any more hope to leapfrog them into second place. Here is Pessina, but he's offside via Toloi's pass. The flag raised by Radu Gingulak on that right-hand side, who's barely had to even raise his flag at any point. And there is fine margins in that offside, I must admit. But the Italians, who've got a much changed side, they made 8 changes in total into the build-up of this game. Of course, the side who started the 2 games, the likes of Spinazzola, Barella, Insigne, Immobile, and Berardi not involved. It's a chance for and Chiellini not involved. Bonucci was subbed off at half-time. The likes of Toloi, Bastoni, Emerson, Verratti, Pessina, Chiesa, Bellotti, Bernardeschi are being used for the first time, and Kiefer Moore's been penalised for a foul on Francisco Akerbi, as he just put his arm into his face there. He certainly didn't swing his arm. There was certainly contact there, but they were saying there should have been a foul given from Pessina on Wilson just moments after he had his name took into Ovidiu Atigan's book. So it is an Italy free kick, which Acerbi takes short. Ahead of him is Pessina. Acerbi gets it back. Now it's with Brian Cristante. Bastoni to Emerson. Now to Bastoni. Acerbi. Forward to Pessina. Acerbi gets it again. Verratti to Acerbi once more. Verratti again. Wales sitting in, keeping it tight, as they have done for the majority of this match. Here is Acerbi once more. Italy just fine-tuning their possession, getting that up in that respect at the moment. Here is Pessina, gets it from Chiesa. Now Verratti. Kiefer Moore and Bale are the highest two players for Wales, and they are just keeping their position. They are well and truly socially distanced away from their Italian players. Cristante. Verratti, the captain. Chiesa. Wales have got everybody back inside their half. They're just trying to make the Italians work even harder to get through. Ball out to the right by Cristante, finds Chiesa. Beautifully took under control by the Juventus Loney. Looking to take on Nico Williams. Goes to Verratti, who's on the corner of the box. Here is now Toloi. First touch lets him down. The Welsh clearance hits a Italian player in there. They can't get the ball out at the moment, Wales. Italy come again now with Chiesa. Good feet shown by Chiesa. Good block. Nico Williams threw himself in front of the shot and conceded a corner, but Wales had two bites of the cherry to fully smack it clear. Unable to do so, and it's led to an Italian corner. And Federico Chiesa has really been a real sort of enigma for Wales at this, for the Italians so far, as David Brooks and Ben Davies are going to come on for Rob Page's side, but they're going to have to be made these changes after this corner's been taken. It's going to be Raspadori who's going to take this. Sassuolo player, just his second cap for the Italians tonight. In it goes, headed behind by Pessina. Good touch by Chiesa, just found himself lying on the edge of the box. Shot is blocked by Roberts, as he was just sort of spinning around amongst himself there as he just tried to regain his balance. But it's another corner for the Italians. Not the best ball in, headed behind by Pessina. Lucky Chiesa was there. Welsh have really got to keep tight to him. They're just not allowing him any room to do anything. Raspadori takes it short from the left. Chiesa's the man who he goes short to. Here's Verratti. Raspadori's on the left. Hand side of the box. Taking on Wilson. Chiesa, good feet to get away from Wilson. Just about does enough, this Harry Wilson. Here's Verratti. Clips it in, attacking it. Could have been Acerbi. Didn't quite go through to him. The Welsh defence do enough. And then Harry Wilson just clears that away, well and truly out of danger, and Wales can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief for now, as yet those two subs still can't take place. Italy lining one up as Gaetano Castrovilli of Fiorentina is about to be introduced, and that last touch has gone on Verratti, and it's gone out for a Wales throw, which will do them nicely as they can now make these two changes. Yeah, Verratti puts that ball into the box. It was right on the edge of the box. Acerbi made the run to the back post. He was the target. But Joe Rodon and Danny Ward both went for it. Luckily, both of them didn't get their wires crossed, and Joe Rodon was able to head it away. Two changes for Wales to come. I think actually it's going to be three. Dylan Levitt, Davies, Ben that is, and David Brooks. So who's going to be the first change? Bit of confusion with the fourth official, Paweł Gil from Poland, as one of the Welsh coaching staff does try and finally give the instructions. So the board is now up. So red going off, it's Gareth Bale. He's probably going to be saved for the round of 16 game in Amsterdam, which is quite a smart move with 5 minutes to go. Of course, he missed that glaring chance. Still yet to score at these championships, Bale. Of course, he missed the penalty against Turkey in their game on Wednesday, which has put them in a real solid position. And is seeing them maintain that at the moment. Only just, I must admit. So Bale off, Brooks on. Is the first of the three changes about to be made. So we're about to find out who 2 and 3 will be. Ben Davies will come on in place of Nico Williams. Williams has had a good afternoon. He's really put his heart and soul into this performance. Done really, really well tonight. So he's going to come off. Ben Davies is on. Of course, he can't get booked because he'll miss the round of 16 game. Of course, bookings do get revoked after the quarterfinals. And Joe Allen, who's been booked, will come off as Dylan Levitt will experience tournament football with Wales. And the Italians are going to make a sub as well, as Gaetano Castrovilli going to come on. And Matteo Pessina will come on in his place. So Castrovilli is another major tournament debutant for Italy. And he'll come on for the final sort of 3.5 minutes, what is remaining of this game. So 3 changes made for Wales. Off go Bale, Allen and Williams, and Brooks, Davies, Ben that is, and Dylan Levitt come on as there's smiles on the Italian bench, and in particular Matteo Pessina is the 1-goal hero. Always nice when you're first starting a major tournament to be a goal scorer and be the only one. So as it stands, Italy top on 9, 3 wins from 3, 7 goals scored, none conceded. Pretty immaculate and impeccable from the Italians. Wales second on 4, but with a +1 goal difference. Switzerland 4 as well, but a -1. That might be enough to take them into the next round. Of course, 4 points is, you think, the maximum. And of course, Turkey going home pointless and winless in Group A. As, of course, Vladimir Petkovic's side shipped 3 in against Italy, as did Turkey. Wales are doing what they didn't do, and that is to allow the Italians to score furthermore, despite being a man down with Ampadu being sent off. Here's Bellotti. Passes blocked to Loyout, sprays it to the left in the middle with Verratti. He gets the shot away, well blocked by David Brooks. Moore is beaten in the air by Acerbi. Here's Chiesa. Good feet too. The number 22 there, Raspadori. Here's Bellotti, gets the shot away. Ward does save it, but then does manage to get his bearings and just keep it in his hands. It didn't look like he was going to spill it, the Welsh goalkeeper. And in each of these group games, Danny Ward has been busy one way or another. And he certainly had to be on his toes when he's been playing for Wales so far in this tournament. He had to be there. Comes to Bellotti, turns and spins. It's a really good effort. It's a real flashing drive, isn't it? It's essentially a blink and you'll miss it. Good strike. Good save by the keeper. Here is now the number 22, Raspadori. Tries to go back to Emerson, but it's defended well by David Brooks. 1.5 minutes to go. Italy 1, Wales 0. And a game you listen to on the commentary hub. Remember, the winner of Group A will face the runner-up in Group C. And we're going to see Gianluigi Donnarumma come off and Salvatore Sirigu come on. As Roberto Mancini has just decided to be rather kind to one of his standing goalkeepers. They often play no minutes, some keepers in the tournament. So Sirigu's going to come on for at least a minute. Certainly isn't like the impact that Tim Krul would have had in the 2014 World Cup when he came on and saved those penalties against Costa Rica and Brazil to replace Jasper Cillessen. Sirigu's going to come on and experience tournament football in his home country. So that is the final alteration for the Italians today. As Cristante has it, playing in his home stadium, remember, in Roma. They, of course, share this with Lazio, the two Rome-based sides. Under new management, aren't they? Both clubs. Jose Mourinho at Roma, Maurizio Sarri at Lazio for the new Serie A season. Here is Chiesa through to the number 7, Castrovilli. Good feet shown. Touch tight to him is Dylan Levitt, and then Harry Wilson was there alongside him to defend it even more. We're into stoppage time, 3 minutes added on. Wales nearly there for second place. Turkey find themselves 3-1 down to Switzerland. Switzerland's big performance is not going to be enough, as they're going to have to rely on other sides not being able to get in one of those 4 spots to put their place in the round of 16. Chiesa, good defending by Wilson, just stands it up well. Wales have been very astute ever since they went 1-0 down. They've managed the game very, very well. They know they're not going to win. They know they're probably not going to get the chances. So it's just about not giving any ammunition or any hope to Switzerland, who in their case, it's the hope that kills them. Here's Cristante. He gets the shot away. It's a low one. Belotti tries to dive in. Just went beyond him. Ward parried it to his right, and then it's smacked clear by the Welsh defence. Well, it looked like Cristante's shot had nothing on it, but Danny Ward had to get down and save it. It took a nick off a Wales player before Ward saved it. It actually came off Dylan Levitt as Ward dived very down low to save it. Belotti slid in, just trying to touch it in. There was another Italian player arriving. But Danny Ward keeps it out as Italy do find themselves 1 goal up. And of course, they have been a different Italian side to the one we've seen in the 2 games, but still nonetheless, they've managed to make it 3 group wins from 3. It's going to be 11 games in a row. They've not conceded a goal in all matches at international level. It's going to be 30 matches unbeaten, their best run since 1935 to 1939. There's something magic in the air about the Azzurri, a side who just a few years ago weren't even qualifying for the World Cup. As whilst Danny Ward made that save, there was an appeal for a penalty as Connor Roberts maybe just pushed Giacomo Raspadori, but Ovidio Atagan, the referee, says no. So one thing that might annoy Rob Page certainly won't be the performance of his Welsh players, but the fact that maybe, in his eyes, Ampadu shouldn't have been sent off. As he, of course, was sent off in around about an hour into the game with that stud challenge into the ankle of Federico Bernardeschi. Can the Italians wrap this up with a second goal, or are they just going to kill time and keep the ball? Is Verratti. Video Atagan has looked at his watch, and that will be that. Italy will end Group A with a 100% record. 3 games, 3 wins, 7 goals scored, none conceded. For Wales, they take 2nd place. So them losing isn't as disastrous as it might seem. They went down to 10 men with Ethan Ampadu being sent off in the second half. Prior to that, 6 minutes before the end of the first half, Matteo Pessina scored for the Italians to make it 1-0 and all importantly, get the deciding result. It was a good defensive performance by Rob Page's Wales, who could have easily crumbled and collapsed and fallen like a set of dominoes, as Wales, of course, could have ended up losing by a heavier scoreline. Switzerland, 3-1 win against Turkey is not enough. We'll go to Russ for the full-time report there, but it's full-time at the Olympic Stadium in Rome. 3 games in this group in the Italian capital for the Azzurri. 3 wins, and Italy finished Group A, top of the summit. Italy 1, Wales 0.
Great coverage as always from Matt Isles as Italy beat Wales by a goal to 0. Italy and Wales go through in first and second places. Switzerland could win 3-1 against Turkey, but it was not enough to knock Wales off second spot in the group. We'll go through how the goals went in for you. It was Stefan Zuber slipped into Severovic, and Severovic from the edge of the box on 6 minutes, which put Switzerland 1-0 up. They then doubled their lead on 20 minutes later, on 26 minutes, when Zerdan Shaqiri scored after another brilliant pass from Steven Zuber. It was from the edge of the penalty area, and Jacques and Zerdan Shaqiri fired into the top corner. He could have made it 3-0 to Switzerland on 29 minutes. Zerdan Shaqiri, well, fantastic save from Kikir in the Italy goal, kept the scores at just 2-0. Turkey had a couple of chances towards the end of the first half. Mulder beat his mark and fired a shot straight to Jansson, who made a fantastic save, which forced it Turkey into a corner which they couldn't take advantage of. Mulder again went on an amazing run, and Jansson made another fantastic save to force another corner which was cleared by Switzerland. Severovic produced a fantastic shot on 60 minutes, which Kikir thwarted him with a fabulous stop and Turkey got a corner. Karagoglu lays it up. Kvechi to pull one back for Turkey to make it 2-1 as Kvechi fired on from the edge of the box to the top left-hand corner. Then 4 minutes later, not 4 minutes later, 6 minutes later, should I say, Zvezdan Shaqiri made it 3-1 to Switzerland after another brilliant pass from Steven Zuber. It was a hat-trick of assists from Zuber today, and Shaqiri found the shot into the roof of the net after a brilliant ball from just inside the penalty area. Xhaka then hit the post for a free kick before wanting a penalty, which was not given by VAR. Switzerland then looked for a fourth late on as well with some other great chances, but couldn't be Kikir in the Turkey goal. But it's finished. Switzerland 3, Turkey 1. So, excuse me, there is something was stuck in the back of my throat. So I'll just run through Group A tables as it stands. It's Italy top on 9 points. Wales in second on 4 points. Switzerland in third on 4 points. Turkey bottom on 0 points. So what that means for the third best placed teams, as it stands after today, Switzerland with that win is now on 4 points as I've just mentioned. They go to the top of the pile. So as it stands, with the other groups yet to play, the 4 best teams going through, as the third best teams going through at the moment, is Switzerland, Portugal, Austria and Finland, with Spain and Croatia missing out. So that would be a big blow for Spain as it stands. With more groups to be played later on, well, that is what third place means. Fourth best place teams mean in that group. But what we'll do now to finish off the programme, get the final thoughts on the Italy-Wales game with Matt Isles. And Matt, was it a good second half performance from Wales in your opinion?
Yeah, I thought they were really smart. I thought, obviously, the red card, which, to be fair, wasn't a red card. I thought it was really harsh on Ampadu. Yes, he's late, fouling Federico Bernardeschi, but, he's not intended to go in for the challenge like that. And we saw a similar challenge last night in the Poland game. I believe it was Jakub Moder, I alluded to it on commentary, sort of went in on Gerald Moreno, and he didn't get a red card for that. And that's pretty much the same offence. So I think for me, that was a bad decision by the referee, Ovidiu Atigan. And I think if I remember rightly, he actually did send Grzegorz Krychowiak off for something similar to that. But of course, that's an entirely different story. But, they went down to 10 men, and it just kind of meant that Wales had to be more resolute. They had to be even more tougher to beat. They were a lot more organised. I thought, yes, the Italians didn't probably have their flair and their spark in their attack as much as they would have liked. But Wales made it hard for them. I thought they were really solid. They did limit the Italians, and I thought, to be fair, Rob Page did deserve a little bit of credit, and those players as well, because, a lot of them could have shied away. They could have, threw the towel in and, really blame the referee for that red card. But I thought that they were excellent. And obviously, I've got to name a man of the match on commentary services. And I'm going to name it.
I was about to ask you for your man of the match. Who was it then, mate?
I'm going to give it to Matteo Pessina, the goal scorer for Italy. Obviously, it was a big day for him. First sort of real start in a major tournament. He took his goal really well. And obviously, I thought he was helping with the attacks well. He's somebody who surprised me a little bit because he's not the tallest player in the world, and yet he was trying to get onto the end of flick-ons from crosses and trying to head at goal. And he's a very, very good player, and I think that just shows the depth that Italy have that they could call upon. I thought Chiesa played well today as well. I thought Belotti, yes, he made some sort of stray runs that were offside, but, he was trying to get in behind. And I think it just shows today that, Roberto Mancini can make 8 changes, and that 8 changes that can work. And, it still keeps up Italy's phenomenal run.
Yes, it does, Matt. And from your excellent commentary, as always, Matt, it did sound like Matteo Pessina did have a fantastic game. And I know he got the goal as well. But what else for you, Matt, did he do good, which was worthy of man of the match performance from him today.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing that he did was, he was getting into these little pockets of space. I think, he's got the more free role between him, Jorginho, and Verratti today. And I think he was just finding those little spaces. His awareness for getting in the right positions is a real key thing. And I think that was a real strength of his today. He's just got in the right positions. He was just trying to, feed those little passes into the strikers or give it back to the midfield. And I thought he was really, really good at that today. So, full marks to him for that. And I think that's why he was, man of the match. But it was a very, very close one to decide, I must admit.
Yes, and obviously I won't be giving a man of the match for my game, but if I were having to choose one, for me, my man of the match in the game, which I would have given it to, is Stefan Zuber. Got 3 assists, played very well down the left hand side for Switzerland throughout the game today. So he would have got my man of the match if we were choosing one from that one. So I just had to give a mention to him. He was superb down the left hand side for Switzerland, linking up well with Rodriguez, Xhaka as well at times, Shaqiri when he was on the field of play as well, and as well as Abril Embolo and Severovic too when they were on the field of play. So we found out who's gone through from Group A. That is Italy and Wales. Who will go through from Group B? Find out tomorrow as we bring you the coverage of those matches. Tomorrow we've got in Group C at 5 o'clock, first and foremost. We've got North Macedonia versus the Netherlands with Mike Orneman updates on Ukraine against Austria from myself, which that game will decide who finishes second and who finishes third in Group C. And then myself and Matt will be back again as we round up Group B on Monday evening. We'll make sure we keep you up to date with what can happen in that one. But for Group C, Netherlands are through as group winners already. Ukraine can finish second with a win or draw. Austria need to win to secure second spot. North Macedonia cannot finish in the top 3. So if you want to find out how Ukraine, Austria go on, this is your place to do so, and how who finishes where in the group. And then Group B is a little bit more complicated. So in Group B, Belgium already through and will top the group with a draw. Russia will be through with a win or draw if Finland fail to beat Belgium. Finland will be through with a win or draw if Russia lose to Denmark. Denmark can finish second if they beat Russia and Finland lose to Belgium. It all depends on goals scored in these 2 matches. So, if everyone's sitting comfortably, I'm going to tell you how it could be. So, if Belgium, Russia and Finland all finish on 6 points tomorrow ahead of Denmark on 0, they'll be split on goal difference from matches between the 3 sides, although all will still advance. All will advance. So in this scenario, if Finland beat Belgium by 1 or 2 goals and Russia win, the order would be Belgium top, Finland second, Russia third. If Finland beat Belgium by between 3 and 5 goals tomorrow and Russia win, it'll be Finland top, Belgium second, Russia third. And if Finland beat Belgium by 6 goals or more and Russia win, the order will be Finland first, Russia second, and Belgium maybe Belgium could be second as well. So depending on how things go, that is what it is with Denmark. Russia and Finland all finish on 3 points, and Belgium on 9. They'll be split on goal difference as well. So, just to tell you this, if Denmark beat Russia 1-0 and Finland lose, they would all be equal on all 3 scenarios and would be split on overall goal difference. An overall goal scored and the number of wins in this case would be equal. And disciplinary points, then, are you ready for this, Matt, as well? European qualifiers ranking, in which Russia are 12th, Denmark 15th, and Finland 20th. Disciplinary points, then European qualifying rankings would be used specifically if Denmark won 1-0 and Finland lost 2-1, because Denmark and Finland would be equal on overall goal difference, goals scored, and number of wins, or if Denmark won 1-0 and lost 3-0, Russia and Finland would be equal on overall goal difference, goals scored, and number of wins. So, here we go. If Denmark beat Russia by one goal margin other than 1-0 and Finland lose, that would be second Denmark, third Russia, fourth Finland. If Denmark beat Russia by 2 goals or more and Finland lose, the order will be Denmark second, Finland third, Russia fourth. So that is all to play for in Group B tomorrow night. And Matt, I'll be covering one of those games tomorrow night. I've read all the permutations there. Are you looking forward to what could be a fascinating night to decide who goes through and who finishes where tomorrow night?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be so fascinating, isn't it? I mean, obviously, you're reading the permutations out there, and it's all to play for, isn't it? I mean, you know, all those fans within those countries being involved, it's just going to really sort of just be a nail biter and real tense sort of 90 plus minutes, isn't it? I mean, everyone's involved. I mean, Belgium can breathe a little bit easier because they're through. But of course, you've got Finland, who have got obviously Belgium at that same time. You've got Russia, you've got Denmark. You know, you could be seeing, or it feels like it could be one of those just nights where something dramatic just happens to go in the favour of somebody, because we're going to see somebody potentially go out on 3 points, and that's going to be very unheard of.
Yes, it is indeed, Matt. And I just want to say thank you for your fantastic commentary again. Don't forget, we'll hear you again tomorrow on the channel. Make sure you stay tuned to your Matt tomorrow on his game, and we'll provide updates on the other like we've done today. We'll provide one commentary, one updates, and how we've done today. We'll see how it goes again, and you'll be able to follow all the games tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned to the places where you are tuned today as well. So thanks once again, Matt, for your brilliant company, and thanks for your excellent commentary as well today. Hopefully yourself, Matt, and the listeners have enjoyed the updates from myself as Switzerland won 3-1 against Turkey and currently in third, and currently top of the 4 third best placed teams that could go through at the moment. I'll just remind you of those before we go. Is Switzerland are on 4 points, Portugal on 3 points, Austria on 3 points, Finland on 3 points as well. So it means Spain and Croatia will miss out. And what a story that would be, Spain out of the Euros at the group stages. So, from all of us here for Sunday's coverage of Euro 2020, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you again very, very soon. From all of us here, good night.